The Home Secretary, a child of immigrants, says multiculturalism has failed. She claims British culture is being, quote, diluted. Given words matter, what impact is Suella Braverman's rhetoric having on our country? Lines are open now. 0345 60 60 973. In case you missed it, how could you, I ask myself, let me remind you of what has happened. The Home Secretary made a long speech at a US think tank last week. Look, she raised some interesting questions. Is the UN Refugee Convention of 1951 fit for purpose in 2023? She asked whether courts are overinterpreting it. She asked whether multiculturalism had worked. I think in a democracy it is always right to ask questions. I do it every single week on this show. There should rarely, if ever, be so-called sacred cows that we can't discuss. That's not healthy in terms of public discourse or the way in which we operate as a country. But those conversations, especially when they are being led by powerful politicians, must be responsible and accurate. I listened to the whole of the Home Secretary's speech. I am not convinced it was responsible, and it certainly was not accurate. What struck me was the way the Home Secretary obfuscated and confused the listener. She talked about uncontrolled immigration, as if any country in the world has that. She gave the impression that the vast majority of the 500,000 people allowed into Britain last year came without permission. That is not true. The vast majority were Ukrainian refugees, students who will leave, and those coming to work in our country to do the jobs we need done. Suella Braverman talked about multiculturalism as a failed dogma, without ever saying that the UK government has never pursued it as a political policy, let alone dogma. The only country I could find in the world that had pursued multiculturalism as a political policy was Canada. She claimed the British public were behind her Rwanda plan, without saying that that very plan had been ruled unlawful in an English court. Most egregious of all, in my opinion, is that she said if cultural change is too rapid and too big, what was already here would be diluted. Her words, what was already here would be diluted. That phrase is used time and again by far-right nationalists to scare the public into thinking that their way of life is under direct and imminent threat. It is a vile and discredited theory used as propaganda by people who bear ill will to this country. It is wrong and, in my view, dangerous that the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, chose to use that phrase. My question to you is this. The Home Secretary, a child of immigrants, says multiculturalism has failed and that British culture is being diluted, a phrase used by the far right. Given words matter, what impact is Suella Braverman's rhetoric having on our country, the fabric of our communities? Lines, as I say, are open now. Call 0345 6060 973 to join the conversation. Today there was a new development On the front page of the Telegraph, it is said that the Archbishop of Canterbury has invited Suella Braverman to have a conversation with him about what he sees as damaging rhetoric that she is using. The report suggests that Justin Welby has been rebuffed by Suella Braverman. So pick up the phone, have a conversation, 0345 6060 973.